Okay, so this is going to be a walkthrough of the current all Kilton Metals WMC setup. I'm starting here in the route where we've landed at the cookpot in Kakariko, and all the material gathering is done. So if you want to see how the materials are gathered, I'd recommend just looking at Piston's World Record VOD, which I will put a link in the description for. But I'll go over sort of the items in the inventory. So this is sort of the minimum starting inventory here. So you should have 2 weapons and 2 weapons only, a branch and a woodcutter's axe. Usually you'll have the woodcutter's axe equipped at this point, and you should that should stay the same throughout the entire setup. You should not have more weapons than this. You should have 2 bows, traveler's bow and phrenic bow. 2 arrows, normal arrows, and bomb arrows. No more arrow types, no more bows. 1 pot lid, just that 1 pot lid. Your armor tab should be undiscovered. That's extremely important. And then for the materials, these are essentially like the minimum counts for the number of materials you need. You can have more than this. It's not going to matter, but this is sort of the minimum count. I guess a minor detail, you need 3 or more blue nightshade, but this specific count will let us get to exactly 60 rupees, which we need to buy the Hylian hood. And food tab can be discovered, but there shouldn't be any food here at the beginning of the setup. And then key items, just the slate, the spirit orbs, and the paraglider. And the spirit orbs we're going to turn in a little bit. Okay, so when we one more thing before we begin, the cheat codes that I have on the left side of the screen, those are the inputs that we need for the prompt entanglement parts of the setup. Write them down, take a screenshot. I'll just refer to them as code 1 and code 2. I won't go over like the specific inputs from here. Okay, so to start off the setup, we land at the cook pot, and then we're going to cook all 6 spicy peppers. One of the requirements of WMSC is that we get to more than 60 meals in our food tab, and so these 6 spicy sauteed peppers are going to get us started working towards that goal. It's important to cook the spicy sauteed peppers because they produce a meal that has a status effect, and status effect meals, they can be eaten when you're at full health without like an extra prompt asking you like, are you sure, which will speed things up because after getting to 16 meals we have to eat all of them. Okay, so once we cook all of those, we're gonna run to the goddess statue here in Kakariko, and we're gonna turn in 4 spirit orbs for 1 stamina upgrade. We want the stamina upgrade because we're gonna get 999 fairies, so hearts are not an issue, and we want the spirit orbs out of our inventory because they get in the way of the duping that we need to happen for IST and WMC. Okay. So after speaking to the goddess statue, we come out and we should get an autosave here. That's important. You can hard save for safety, but it shouldn't matter. I think it's pretty much guaranteed to get an autosave there. We're going to come into the clothes shop, and here we're going to break 10 slots total. So first, we're going to take 1 each of a nightshade herb, princess, and shroom, and just stash them on the ground. And then we're going to hold shroom, apple, princess, herb, and nightshade. Okay, so we're going to be breaking 10 slots in 2 sets of 5. Okay, so just go through your inputs for breaking slots. Okay, so here in this iteration, we're selling the 4 items we dropped on the ground plus the apple. Okay, once you exit out, you're going to pick up everything that you dropped. You pick up these 2 as well, and then go back into your Holt Smuggle. And this time you're going to hold Nightshade, Shroom, Princess Herb, and then Fairy. Okay, and then you're going to break 5 more slots with those. So Fairy, Herb, Princess, Mushroom. And we're going to sell the apple too, because the magic number here is 60. Which lets us buy the Hylian Hood. And transferring the Hylian Hood back into our autosave, we're transferring an armor into a save without a discovered armor tab, and that's what enables all of the prompt entanglement shenanigans that we're going to do. So just to double check, when you're once you buy the Hylian Hood, you should have the Hylian Hood and armor. You should only have Endura carrots and materials. You should have 6 meals, and you should just have the slate and the glider. And from there, don't save. You're just going to reload back into the Goddess Statue autosave. Okay, so since we're breaking 10 slots in 2 sets of 5, we don't have a check item in order to be sure that we got the broken slots. So the check actually can come here, where you want to make sure that your carrots have duped, right? So now there are 2 slots of Endura carrots, and that you have 12 food here. Okay, each row is 5, so this is 12. If you only have 9 food, that means you were successful on one set of breaking 5 slots and unsuccessful on the other ones. In which case, the backup is just eat back down to 6 food, which is what you started off with cooking, and go back in the shop and break 5 more slots and buy the Hylian Hood and reload again. If you only have 6 food here, then you were unsuccessful in both attempts at breaking slots, and then you should just redo the entire setup. Okay, so having 12 food here and your carrots duped is an indication that things were successful. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to get the glitch cursor for invalid star. And so normally, if you're here, you pause and then you tab right really quickly. And you hope that the cursor lands on the star icon. Right now, it's there in the bottom left. So that was unsuccessful. And so when I'm unsuccessful, my backup is usually to the tab to the undiscovered armor tab here. Unpause, pause, and go right. And usually that lands the cursor on the star tab. If it's if it doesn't do that, then you just repeat the process. Okay, we'll realign the cursor here, and then we're going to go to this campfire. In this step, we are going to drop some unnecessary materials from our inventory to make subsequent steps a little bit easier to manage, as well as roast an Endura carrot. So we're going to drop 5 blue nightshade on the ground, okay, because we only need 1 more. Usually I take 2 herb, 2 princess, and 1 Endura carrot, and I throw them into the fire here. And the herb and the princess will burn up, and the Endura carrot will roast. And then I'm going to go down to just 1 shroom and 1 apple. Okay, toss them off to the side. I don't actually want to roast that. And then pick up the roasted Endura carrot. Okay. Then on my way I'm going to run to this cook pot, and on the way I'm going to shoot down to 1 arrow. Okay, I'm going to eventually need to get rid of my my normal arrow slot, and it's faster if there's only 1 arrow left. Okay, so ultimately what we should have here are 2 stacks of Endura Carrot, all the materials except for Fairy at 1, Fairy is at 2, the 12 food plus the roasted Endura Carrot here at the very end, nothing, Slate and Glider here in key items, and then we're going to save and reload. And at this point, you should notice that your cursor is glitched. If you load a screen and you don't see the cursor, you're just going to press D-pad right to get the cursor to appear. Okay. The next set of steps, we're going to clear out our inventory a little bit, right? So there are things in our inventory that are getting in the way of efficient duping, as well as the corruption that we need to do later on. So specifically, we need to get rid of the Sheikah Slate and Paraglider from our inventory. We need to get rid of the Hylian Hood from our inventory, and we need to get normal arrows out of the way. And we're going to do all of that with prompt entanglement. So basically, we're going to eat them. Okay. If you're standing near the cookpot, when you pause, you're going to be on the material tab, and that's just the right place we need. We want the cursor here in the top left, row 1, column 1 of the materials tab, and then I'm going to input cheat code 1. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I showed off those 2 cheat codes. I'm going to enter cheat code 1. Okay, you want to do all of these cheat codes at like kind of a steady rhythm, not too fast, not too slow, and you don't want to mash. Okay, the inputs should be kind of precise. And if you did it right, you'll get the cursor kind of glitched off the screen, hovering over the Endura Carrot there. I'm going to go to the System tab and then come back, and that should update the game with to show that it has the Endura Carrot highlighted. Then I'm going to tab right 3 times with the right stick, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to press A and eat, and that should eat the Sheikah Slate from my inventory. Okay. Now I'm going to eat the Hylian Hood. The setup looks like... first, I'm going to correct the glitched cursor. So I'm going to come back to the Key Items tab, and then I'm going to D-pad left until I'm on row 1, column 1 of the food page, of the second food page. And if you did all the previous steps right, the second food page should just be this one roasted Endura Carrot. And now from here, I'm going to enter cheat code 1 again. Okay. And again, System tab and come back. That's just R and then L, and that should be hovering over the roasted Endura Carrot. And now I'm going to go left 3 tabs with the right stick. So right stick left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to press A and eat my Hylian Hood. Okay. Then I'm going to unpause and pause, and that will put me back onto the materials tab, so just like a minor menu optimization. The cursor here is still a little bit glitched, so usually what I do is just D-pad left and D-pad right, and that kind of fixes the glitch cursor. And then I'm going to enter cheat code 1 again to glitch the cursor again. So cheat code 1. Okay. R then L again to update the cursor, and then I'm going to tab over to the right 3 times, and then eat the Paraglider here. Another reason to unpause and pause is that it kind of reorders things so that the Paraglider is now in the correct slot to be eaten here. Okay, so we've eaten Slate, Hood, and Glider. Now we need to eat normal arrows, and this is the only one that uses a different cheat code. So to get set up for this, I'm going to D-pad left and that'll fix the glitch cursor. And then I'm going to go to row 3, column 5 of the first food tab. And then I'm going to enter cheat code 2. Cheat code 2 is done in 2 parts. So you do the first part, okay, and then you do the second part, and then you do the first part, and then you tab left 3 times. Sorry, I messed up those instructions. Let's start over. You do the first part of cheat code 2. Okay, tab left twice. Okay, there we go. And then the cursor is there hovering over Link's Sheikah Slate. You're going to press D-pad left, and then you're going to enter the second part of cheat code 2. And the cursor should land over ferry. So RL, that should update the system to see that it's hovering over ferry. And now we're going to go left with the right stick 3 times. Okay, and that hovers it over normal arrows. Press A to use. Okay, and now we've eaten the normal arrow slot. And then to close out this section, tab back over to bows and arrows. We're going to equip bomb arrows and our phrenic bow, save, and reload. Okay. The last steps that I have on this slide is just sync game data, save, and reload. So what we're doing in this step is just duping more food. Now that the slate and glider are out of the way, every time we save and reload, we're going to dupe 10 food, okay, which will get us to that 60 food number a little bit faster. Sync game data means we're going to just take an action that aligns that updates the memory for about what's actually in our inventory, because we've transferred over stuff from the previous save, and then we need the game to realize that we've done that. Usually the fastest way to sync game data is just to press any of the quick menu options, so like D-pad left, right, or up, and then we'll go in to menu, and we're going to save and reload. And just so you see, kind of, we should be at 31 food right now. Save, reload. Okay. This next reload is where we cook our WMC meal and our last use of prompt entanglement. There's a little bit of RNG bad luck that can happen here, which is if it's raining in Kakariko when you reload. Okay, because if it's raining, this cookpot fire is not lit and you won't be able to cook. So if that were to happen, I think the easiest thing to do would be to pause, eat the first 10 meals here, so this first row and this second row, and then save and reload. Okay, and that sort of resets, that undoes the very previous step, and it loads you back into Kakariko at the right state of your inventory, and hopefully the save and reload will have gotten rid of the rain. But luckily for us, it's not raining here, so when you pause, your cursor again will be on materials in row 1, column 1. That's where we want, and we're going to enter cheat code 1 again. I actually didn't put that in the notes here, but we're doing cheat code 1 again. Okay, R and L to update to Endure Carrot, and then again we're going to go to the right 3 times with the right stick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now this time, because of the additional food in our inventory, we should be hovering over Endure Carrot, and we're going to use we're going to take advantage of a hold trick here to increase the number of Endure Carrots that we have. So if you press X to hold and hit A 4 times, 2, 3, 4, and then you press X to unhold, that'll essentially dupe the number of Endure Carrots we have to 4. Then we're gonna press X to hold again and hold 3 Endure Carrots. Okay, so essentially we've duped 3 carrots. We're gonna hold those. We don't want to hold everything in this slot because we still want the food. We still want that slot to be occupied by food. Okay, so now we're holding 3 roasted Endure Carrots, which normally is not a item that you can hold, but through the magic of prompt entanglement, we're doing that. We're going to unpause and pause. That lands us back into the materials menu, and we're going to add a fairy and a blue nightshade into our hands. So now we're holding 5 things, and these are the 5 things we're going to cook with. Okay, you should get sneaky fried wild greens from that. And that is the magic WMC meal that has the right number of hearts and costs that will allow our bows to become omega. So once we've cooked, we can just go and save and reload. Sometimes when you press right to get the cursor on the screen, you're not going to be hovering over the save file that you want. So just be mindful of that. And then we're going to do the sync game data, save and reload again, and that's just to finish duping the food. Okay, here's like the rain that I'm talking about that can put out the fire pot. Luckily, it's not in. It's not part of the setup where we actually need the fire. Okay, so we can just save and reload. Just to check where you are, we should have 52 food here. So 3 tabs, 12 on the last one. Okay, save. Reload. Okay. So now what we've accomplished is we've taken the special WMC meal. Oh wow, more rain. We've taken this special WMC meal and we've like pushed it off the inventory. Like the game has tried to load it, but then the game has realized like, oh, I've run out of space for it in my food tab. So if you tab all the way over to your food, you should have like 4 tabs of food here. And then the roasted Endura carrot at the very end. Now, if you kind of remember, the sneaky fried wild greens should be here, like to the right of the roasted Endura carrot. It's not, because the game prevents kind of regular food from loading in after you've reached 60 plus food. There's a special exception for roasted food that I won't get into, but essentially the WMC meal failed to load, which means that the game has written its data erroneously onto the roasted Endura carrot. That was a little bit technical, but that's all to say is this is the meal we want to keep, and we don't want the other 60 that are here. So we are going to eat everything here. And so you notice that when we get to a roasted Endura carrot, we get an extra prompt because Link is at full health, but because the spicy peppers are status effect meals, the game doesn't give us that extra prompt. So it's important that most of these meals do not give us that extra prompt, and it saves a lot of time on menuing. So we eat 60 meals, we save that last carrot. Okay, then we're going to unpause and pause. Oh, we do need to cook in this. Oh, shoot. Okay, so I didn't think ahead. We do need to cook here, so I think the best thing to do would be to come into this shop, and then if you leave if you enter that shop and leave, that's another way to relight the pot. I'm not entirely sure of that, so just pray for no rain there. Anyway, now that we're here, we're gonna take all 5 regular Endura carrots that we have, and we're gonna cook this stamina food with them. And so now we should just have roasted Endura carrot and enduring fried wild greens here. Okay. And now we're gonna manipulate our inventory in order to do the corruption, which is we want thousands of arrows, 999 fairies, and we want 999 stamina food. We're gonna drop the potlet and the traveler's bow. We're going to take specifically the Hylian shroom, the apple, and the Hyrule herb. So 3 of our materials, and we're going to put them on the ground and pick them back up. Okay, and because of I won't go into too many details because of just shenanigans and with M count and things like that. What you'll notice is that if you go to your food and you keep tabbing right, you get to another materials tab, right? So you have like 2 materials tabs right now. But specifically what you want is ferry in slot 1 of this materials tab and 1 more material slot afterwards, which is usually going to be the silent princess. Okay. Then we're going to be picking up this pot lid, that Coco near the pot lid. We're going to be picking up this pot lid near the cooking pot multiple times. We're essentially duping this pot lid. And where I'm standing now is sort of like the safe place to stand to pick up the pot lid without triggering a conversation with Coco. So we're going to stop here. We're going to stand here. We're going to save. We're going to drop our Phrenic Bow. Okay. And if I'm facing this way, the Phrenic Bow just kind of falls into the water. That's fine. We're going to pick up the pot lid. And then I'm going to face away because I want to drop and pick up my 2 weapons. So facing the water, like weapons drop behind you when you drop them. So I don't want these weapons to fall into the water because I want to pick them up. Okay. So drop them, pick them up. Okay. Then I'm going to unequip the weapon that auto-equipped it, and then I'm going to reload. Okay. And all of that was... here, let me show you what the inventory looks like. All of that was to make sure that the inventory is in the right order and the right number of the right specific items get transferred to the next save. So like there are these 2 weapons. I'm tabbing left here, a pot lid, these materials, right? So let's go and reload. Okay, and then once we load in, first thing we do, don't do anything else except for save. And that will save the corruption. Next, we're going to eat these 2 roasted Endura carrot meals. That's because when we reload, the carrots have been corrupted, so we don't want any carrots being transferred over that might interfere with that. Then we are going to leave 3 material slots behind. We have 10 because they got duped in the last reload. We only want 3 to be present, and we don't want any of them to be fairies, right? Because fairies have also been corrupted, and we want 999 to load in. So usually what I do is I'll eat 2, hold 5, including the 2 fairies, okay? And that way I don't have to hold twice. Okay, so just to make sure that I don't like accidentally pick them up again, I'm gonna throw them into the water. Now, when I'm facing away, just a bit of technical detail, I'm gonna face like this way so that the weapons I'm about to drop behind me and don't interfere with me also picking up the pot lid there. So I'm going to drop the Phrenic Bow, and I'm going to drop all the weapons. Okay, I suddenly have 4 because, again, 2 of them transferred from the last save. Okay, and then now I'm going to pick up 3 weapons. Okay, and these drop to the other side of the fence. Okay, just make sure you don't pick up the Phrenic Bow again. And then back into position to pick up the pot lid. Okay, by the way, if you're too close, Coco will want to talk to you if you pick up that pot lid. Okay, so we want to just avoid that time loss. And then unequip the weapon, and then go in and reload. Once you reload, you should get a couple of tooltips. One that about changing shields, one about throwing weapons, because additional shields and weapons have been transferred over here. Once you dismiss them, immediately save. Okay, and then we're almost there to the corruption. We want to clear out materials again, so we only want 999 fairies and then 1 slot to the right of fairies here. So what I'll usually do is I will eat one and then hold these 5. Okay. Again, throw them in the water so that I don't accidentally pick them up. I'm going to get the pot lid one more time, and then I'm going to reload. And that should be it. When I pause now, I should have my Omega bow. So about a 120 attack Phrenic bow, or greater if I got a crit on the meal or something like that. 4,400 bomb arrows, 999 fairies, and 999 roasted Dura carrots. We don't really care about those, but then this last slot here should be corrupted stamina food. Okay, so this is a stack of 999 stamina food. So from here, the run kind of continues. You pick up this pot lid one more time so that you have 4 pot lids. And then you can win bomb and kill things to your heart's content. There is one more part of this setup, which is getting the bow of light out of the blights. But I think I'll put that into a separate video. I'll just close by saying you'll continue the run, but as you continue the run, you're going to just avoid until you enter Sanctum and start the fight with the Blights and Ganon. You want to avoid eating the stamina food in the first, second, and fourth slots. Okay, these are single meals. You want to be careful with like the spacing of different things when we go do the corruption on the Bow of Light. So it's just safer to only eat stamina food from this stack here. So that's that WMC part. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about any of these steps, feel free to drop by the extensions channel in the Breath of the Wild speedrunning Discord and ask any questions. I'll post an invite link to the Discord too. All right, that was all Kilton Metal's weapon modifier corruption for our Omega Bow.